So this was a piece of news that I didn't get to talk about this week. We were kind of covered with a whole bunch of other Transformer news, covering some Patreon listener questions before the holidays begin. And I think I found an opportunity to talk about it here today. We covered it very lightly in the live stream last week, but I figured I'd do a separate segment about it and break down what's going on, what's the differences between this mold, the mold history with it. And I just like kind of talking about this kind of stuff because it's always interesting to see the development of certain Transformer toys, especially ones that are almost 40 years old now, if not more. So let's get into that. This is a piece of news in relation to it. These were images that popped up on Baidu, and then they popped up on Weibo, different Chinese message boards within the Chinese TF community. And now these images started showing up a couple of days ago. Then we got a whole new set of images just today, and that kind of also instigated me to want to talk more about this because now we got some nice images. So let's talk about this G1 Hound reissue that, due to its coloring and stuff, is probably clearly going to be used in that Transformers Retro reissue line with Walmart that takes these old G1 molds and then updates them with very show-accurate kind of color schemes and stuff, giving you a reason to buy those old G1 molds again for the 20th time. I know it works with me, but I'm just saying. So, of course, for people that aren't aware, this is based off of the original 1984 Generation 1 Hound toy, which was an old Diaclone Kojin Ono design from the Diaclone car robot line. It was number 12, the J59 Jeep Mitsubishi, and legendary toy, was practically one of the few Hound toys that existed during that time, and that was that. And they wanted to do a reissue of this back in 2001, 2002, 2003. Hasbro wanted to do it along with Takara. And initially it was Hasbro that was going to do the reissue first. And Aaron Archer of Hasbro at the time was like, man, a lot of those G1 molds were in really bad shape. Like really bad shape. And Hound was one of them. And at the time they're like, you know what, we're not going to do it for the Western market. And that was that. But Takara did want to do a reissue in 2004 with their Takara book box reissues, and they did do one. But in order to do it with Hound, they had to recast that mold completely. There was a lot of work that had to be done. It wasn't just Hound. Jazz was responsible with that too. They had to recast his face and stuff because the surface detail was just so washed out throughout the years. The Seeker Jets was another. There were so many. But in the case of Hound, a lot of problems were there. A lot of the veneering and the surface sculpting was absolutely lost and washed out from those old tools and molds from back in the day. So it got a heavy recast, and you could kind of see it here today. You see it with the 2004 release even. The grill is kind of straightened out. It doesn't have the rounded off edges. It's more straight now. The side headlights, the side mirrors are sculpted differently. The headlights now have sculpted detail because they were so washed out and damaged throughout the years. The face sculpt is completely brand new because same thing, that was completely washed out. It was practically a flat face on the old mold at that point. So they made a brand new face sculpt on it that was a little more defined and show accurate. And that was the 2004 reissue that we got from the Takara Japanese book box reissues. Of course, eHobby afterwards would then grab that mold, and we got Detritus afterwards, the eHobby brown repaint Detritus, and that was that. Fast forward all these years later, and now we have this one here today, which takes that old 2004 mold, not the original Japanese/American G1 design. So if you're a hardcore completist, if you do get an original 1984, you will see a distinct difference between this one and that one, just from a sculpting. So at least that's kind of good from a differentiation just from the surface detail and stuff. So that's nice. But we have this figure here, and I mean, in all honesty, it looks really good. I like what they did here. Considering the limitations in terms of articulation, everything from those early 1984 Diaclone molds, it still looks really good just by all the paint and everything. They went with that show-accurate kind of green that's used for the hue instead of a dark green. They painted the face completely, which is really nice, and gave those iconic blue eyes that every Autobot character had, which is a really nice touch because a lot of times they could just paint the whole thing gray and call it a day and not bother with the eyes. All the chrome that was done on this figure with the original one which was on the sprue, was all chrome stuff, be it the weapons or the side mirrors or the block engine in the front or the headlights. All of those were now made into a matte kind of gray. And one part of it, at least the case of the engine block, that was painted to make it look more like the show accurate animation model. So that was a nice touch there too. Really like that a lot. In terms of other paint decos and stuff like that that add to it, they add some tampos of paint decals for the Autobot logo on one side of the car. They put a star on the other side, again, matching that animation model, which really is much more noticeable in robot mode. I really dig everything they did there. Even within the robot mode, you have the yellow details on both his forearms and his lower torso and crotch region. Again, those yellow details that were originally kind of ugly foil stickers. Now they're nice, beautiful yellow decals that match the original animation model. They really went out of their way to kind of get every fine detail and turn it into a deco and make it look really nice on this. If I have to nitpick, the only thing that's missing is the Autobot logo on the hood of the Jeep vehicle, and then it would be dead on perfect. Like, I'm really impressed with how much they were able to do with just this limited, kind of small G1 mold and still make it look very show accurate. Very good. Looks really, really good. The question is now, is this for you? They recasted it. It looks really nice. It's more show accurate than that mold has ever been in its entire iteration since literally the 70s when it was a Diaclone design, and then 84 with a Transformer design. Is this for you? Well, it's an odd one, and it's very timed weird when this is coming out, because we have that buzzworthy Bumblebee Deluxe Class Hound that we saw not too long ago, where they're going to take that Siege one, they're going to retool it and recast it to make it look extremely Earth mode accurate, makes it look really nice. And that one is also going for a super show accurate deco and color scheme and everything. And, no doubt that'll fit the bill for many fans in their displays and their Transformer collections, and that'll be their Hound. So it really is a question, where does this belong in the collections of other Transformer collectors? Because you have the traditional just kind of collectors that want to have the best version of a character for their scaled display of Classics Generations flavored stuff. Legacy, Universe 2.0, whatever you want to call it. I hate the term chug. You have the people that are the more high-end collectors, and so they probably already got their G1 Masterpiece Hound, even though it had all those kind of problems and issues with it. Or they got some third-party version to kind of fill that gap. So then it really is just kind of for those like weirdo vintage completist guys, kind of like me, that this really is aimed at, for people that want to own the vintage one, but has something that still is much more show accurate than owning the original. And, someone like me too, I kind of enjoy the whole story and journey of the tooling and the design, and I like owning those figures, so you could have them side by side and compare all the little changes that are here and there. And I mean, at the end of the day, it comes with everything the original toy came with. It comes with the little turret that goes on the back of the vehicle, his gun, his shoulder cannon, his 3 missiles on the sprue, the gas tank that could come off and everything on the back. So everything is there from the original. Nothing is left out. So you're getting the original product pretty much, just with slightly recasted and in a more show accurate color scheme than it ever has been. Now then, what will be the MSRP on this? Well, historically, and that's how I like to work, historically, we don't have an MSRP right now, but every time we've gotten a reissue of Hot Rod, who is Hot Rod's a Generation 1 1986 Autobot car price point. And Hound is a G1 1984, sometimes 1985 Autobot car price point. And historically, every time we got a Generation 1 Hot Rod reissue, the Hound is kind of not too far behind in that pricing. So outside of, let's say, little things here and there, I'm aiming probably at a $33.99 price point for this, which isn't terrible. Assuming all the die-cast is maintained in that, then yeah, I think it's about right. And when you're considering that, if you want to get an original non-bootleg Hound complete or a Takara reissue, it's going to run you easily a minimum $100 in the secondary market. So this is a very good alternative, and especially it's a very good alternative that is even more show accurate, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people would like to have, and it won't break the bank for you. And honestly, you could do a lot worse for $33.99 in that case, so I think I'm down for that. But that's it, more or less. Just wanted to kind of cover this, just because we didn't get a chance to really go through it and explain what's going on and how different this is from the original and all the little twists and turns and stuff like that. So I kind of like to cover that with you guys. But otherwise, that's it. I just, it's something we covered quickly on the live stream. And speaking of which, on the live stream, this Saturday and Sunday coming up is going to be Christmas Eve and Christmas. I am not going to be doing a live stream on Saturday or Sunday night this week, but what I will be doing instead is tomorrow, Friday, on the 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until 10 p.m., we will be doing a live stream then. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of end-of-the-year giveaways, big Christmas giveaway for a whole bunch of Patreon and YouTube members. So Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, tomorrow, Friday, the 23rd of December. Come check that out. We're going to be doing some giveaways, not just one, but a bunch of them. I think we're going to do maybe 2 or 3. We'll see how I feel and what we're going to do, but giving away some stuff for the fans so they have a good holiday season. And then after that, after my stream is done, Aaron Archer is going to be doing a stream on his channel on the Toy Armado at Aaron Archer. So you're going to get a double dose of streaming and get my ugly mug, and then here's his ugly mug of that. And then you can enjoy the rest of the evening. So we're going to do something like that tomorrow. So be sure to tune in for that. And we'll talk more on the Transformer Slag podcast. Take care, everyone, and have a good holiday.